This is JBigTicket23 from GreenPCGamers.com. In this video, we are going to show you how to replace the 3-fan assembly or the single fan out of a Precision T3610 Workstation. Now, this video will also be helpful to you if you have a Precision T3600, T5600, T5610, T5810, or T7810 Workstation, because they all use a very similar 3-fan assembly in the front of the chassis. So if you've never been to GreenPCGamers.com, you should definitely check it out. This video was requested by a bunch of our community members. And what they did was they clicked on the suggested topic page and they just submitted it. And after we saw the request quite a few times, we finally made time to do this video. It can also be a helpful website if you are looking to upgrade your workstation. So if you have one of the models in the title of this video, you can click on the blog page, and for example, if you search T3610, it'll bring up a page called Awesome T3610 Gaming Computer, and we show you a bunch of high clock speed processors, upgraded memory, hard drives, graphics cards, monitors, other peripherals. So this can be a very, very helpful upgrade guide for you, depending on what workstation you have. So if you have a different model, search it. It should pop up for you. If it doesn't, go ahead and click on the suggested topic page and we will get to your topic as fast as we can. All right, so let's get to the actual install. So this is kind of an involved install because you have to remove like the whole front assembly to actually get to the 3-fan assembly. And we're going to show you how to get to that. Here's our T3610. This system's going on about 5 years old now. We're going to put it on its side and remove the side panel. Just like so. Lift up the handle, it pops right off really easily. And now we've got the front orientation. We're going to remove the bezel. Now it's not really necessary for this install to actually remove the bezel, but sometimes if you want to remove your handles as well, you can do that. We're going to unplug our optical drive, remove the optical drive cage. Actually, you do have to remove the bezel to get this metal optical drive cage out. So definitely remove the bezel. We are going to remove our memory cooling shrouds. You might have different memory cooling shrouds depending on what model system you have. And then we will start removing the screws. Now we have to remove this screw that holds in this optical drive cage. And then there's 4 other screws that hold this optical drive cage in as well. So you'll remove all 4. And then we're actually going to remove these metal pieces because, as you can see, they sit right on top of that 3-fan assembly that we need to remove. And we are using like a really, really long Phillips screwdriver. You could use a drill, but this long Phillips screwdriver works pretty well for this. We're not going to strip any of these screws. It does take a little bit longer than using a drill bit. And so once we get this metal assembly removed, we'll be one step closer to getting our 3-fan assembly out of this chassis. Okay, so we've got that removed. We're going to grab all of our screws, set them aside so that we can reinstall them once we replace our fan, or if you're going to replace the whole assembly, your choice. All right, now there's 3 screws that hold the 3-fan assembly in. So we're going to pop all 3 of those screws out. And we also have to remove that plastic PCI card holding shroud. We also have to unplug our fan connectors from the motherboard as well. So we're going to grab our screws from the 3-fan assembly. And then, so here we're going to show you there's a little thumb piece that you can push in, and this little black plastic PCI holding shroud comes out really, really easily. Okay, so now we're going to unconnect our connectors from the motherboard. There's 3 of them. Come off really easily. And at this point, we are ready to remove our fan assembly. Now, we've seen vendors sell these fan assemblies in different ways. You can either buy the full assembly or you can buy the single fan. So if you can determine which fan is defective, like if it's not spinning or it's super loud, there's the part number for the T3610. It might change depending on what workstation you have. So in our case, we're going to simulate one of our fans being bad. So we're just going to replace the one fan. So they have these rubber grommets on them. And you just kind of lift them up towards the opening notch, like we're doing. And then you can remove that single fan that's bad. So if you don't want to mess around with that, you can buy the whole assembly. But I mean, why not just replace one fan, you know? Unless you get the full assembly really cheap somewhere. All right, so we've got our fan removed. Now, the little rubber grommets they're kind of delicate, so you want to be careful. You know, take your time when removing them. So we're going to reinstall this one, simulating a failure. And basically, you start with the bottom and slide those rubber grommets back in. Well, obviously, first we need to get our Molex connector back through the slot. And then start with the bottom and slide those grommets back in. And you want it to be nice and secure so that when you do turn your system back on, you don't have any, if it's not secure, you might get some rattling, which is really annoying on a system like this. All right, so pull them back through like so. And be delicate, don't be rough, because if you're rough with it, you might break one of them. And then you might need to get the whole assembly again. All right, so that's how you replace just a single fan if you don't replace the whole assembly. Okay, so now we're ready to reinstall it. So, I mean, essentially, we just need to put everything back together. So if you memorized everything that we did when we removed the assembly, you're in good shape right now. You can just start reassembling everything. We're going to show you either way just in case you forget one of the steps. And if this video has been helpful to you so far, please consider subscribing to our channel. As you can probably tell, we don't make money making these videos, but it definitely helps if you subscribe to our channel, because someday maybe we will. All right, so we're going to reinstall the assembly. There's three screws. We've already plugged our Molex connectors back into the motherboard. And again, we're just reassembling, putting everything back together. Okay, so next we will, I believe, get our plastic PCI holding shroud. Just clip that right back into place. We are not currently using our dual 6-pin power adapters for an upgraded graphics card, so we'll push that right back up to the top. Get our metal optical drive assembly, our media cage, back in place. We have 5 screws that we're going to have to reinstall for that metal assembly. And you want to make sure you put all the screws back in again, because we don't want anything to be loose and anything to rattle when those fans are spinning up, because that's just annoying when you're trying to keep your system really nice and quiet. So we're gonna put all the screws back into place. So this metal bracket, there is a little bit of play when it comes to the screw holes. So before you actually try to drive the screw back into the hole, make sure you line it up properly, so that everything installs, everything's straight. You don't have any cockeyed screws when you're installing. So take your time, basically. Make sure everything is lined up properly. All right, so we have one more screw after this one. And then we've got our metal optical drive assembly back into place. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we are ready to put our memory cooling shrouds back on. And again, these might be different in your system. If you have a different model than the T3610, they might look a little bit different, but same concept. Put them back on the same way you remove them. And they will clip right back into place. All right, we're going to put our bezel back on. And that will clip right back into place. Take your time when you're putting the bezel on. You know, you can easily break those black clips. So just take your time. It'll go on easily if you line it up properly. You don't want to break it. All right, now we're going to put our optical drive cage back in. All right, so from here, we just need to plug our optical drive back in as well. And if you have a media reader or something else that you had to uninstall when you did this, yeah, this is a good time to plug that in as well. All right, and now just got to put our side panel back on. And that's all there is to it. That's the full install. It took a long time because you got to remove so many components to access that. Again, if this video was helpful to you, please consider hitting the subscribe button. We really appreciate that. And thank you so much for watching.